Will you please welcome with me Billy Piper and Paul Rudd? Come on in. Thank you so much. Thank you, Billy. That's amazing. Great to have you here. Great to have you both here. Thank you for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having us.
I was talking to Billy a little bit before the show, and you told me what a huge fan you were of Paul.
Oh, yeah, when I was younger. Josh. Clueless.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Not at all. No, thank you. Well, I'm a fan of yours. It's lovely to meet you.
It's lovely to meet you.
And you mentioned to me, Billy, you mentioned me his eyes. You asked me about his eyes.
Oh,
and you
I
said...
didn't realise you were going to raise.
Well, no, I just thought this should be shared. What did you say about his eyes?
Well, there's something quite catty about your eyes. Actually, now I'm seeing them live. They're a lot warmer in the flesh. I mean, you're very warm.
Yeah.
But sometimes it seems like the light reflects on your eyes in a way that feels quite primal.
I get cold and dead a lot. Cold, dead eyes.
They're gorgeous eyes.
They're gorgeous eyes.
Thanks, guys.
Paul, so am I right in thinking you were born in the US? I think New Jersey, is that right? OK, but your parents are both from here, aren't they?
That's right.
Both from the UK.
London, yeah.
So you must have... Do you have a fondness for the UK because of that? Do you get to visit often?
Absolutely. I've been coming here my whole life. I have dual citizenship.
Wow.
And I just, you know, it was tough to get any real good chocolate and candy and all of the, you know, good stuff here in the Midwest. So we would always have relatives send it over. And so I have such a warm, you know, warm feeling for England.
So relatives would send food parcels of chocolates over to you as a child?
Crunchy bars, you couldn't get them where I lived. You couldn't get Roundtree fruit gums, which were my dad's favorite. He loved the fruit gums that would take your teeth out.
Someone hissed when you said Roundtree fruit gums.
I found that I didn't realize, everyone's like, oh, the pastils.
Yes.
The pastils, which are great, everyone loves, but my dad loved the gums.
Yeah.
The ones that take your teeth out.
Yeah, and nobody seems to like those,
Has he...
just based on that reaction.
You're part of the big new Ghostbusters movie. Mm-hmm. Next exciting movie. But before we get to that, this is not the only franchise, because, of course, you were Antman in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which was amazing. I love those movies.
Oh, great.
You know, I love those movies, I really do. What's it like filming them? Because they're huge in scale, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you filmed that one here, I think?
That's right, yeah. The last one we filmed here. The first two we filmed in Georgia.
Right.
All set in San Francisco. But this one, yeah, this one we filmed out here.
And a huge scope of sets, I imagine, great scale?
Enormous. And, I mean, to be involved in one of those productions is really astounding. And this one was really unique because they built this thing called the Volume, which is like a screen, an LED screen that wraps around an entire soundstage. They brought out dirt on the floor to make it look and feel more realistic.
So you're in a huge soundstage with dirt everywhere?
Pretty much, although it wasn't dirt. I think they got a deal on the dirt because it turned out to be manure.
Wow.
And we filmed in the summer.
You know what strikes me as being weird about that? I would imagine that dirt would probably be cheaper than
manure.
You would think.
Can you imagine the tomatoes they grew when you were gone?
It's true.
What are the fan base out there? Because Marvel fans, and I am one of them, they're quite kind of... obsessive is the wrong word, but they're, you know, big on the details. They love looking at the characters, the changes made from the film, from the comic books. Do you have much interactions? Have you ever been to conventions to meet the fans of those films?
I went to one of those Comic-Cons. The very first time Ant-Man was announced, I went to the big Comic-Con. I'd never been to one before.
In San Diego?
Yeah, and it was interesting because I was part of the Marvel panel, and I went out with the Avengers, which is a really interesting way to go to a Comic-Con. I've described it as it's like going to a music convention with the Beatles.
Yeah, it's the only way to go to a
It was
Comic-Con.
really, it's like, oh, well, this has kind of ruined it for me now. There's thousands of people screaming, going crazy. It was pretty wild, yeah.
I want to talk about Ghostbusters. Frozen Empire, the new Ghostbusters movie, out now, and it's a great, fun family film. And what's amazing, though, and I would imagine this was amazing for you, for me as a fan, it was great, to see you on screen with the original, those who are still with us, the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah.
Surreal.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense whatsoever. It's very hard when you... It was super cool to put on the flight suit and the proton pack and shoot ghosts. I felt like I was 10 years old. But then to kind of look over and see Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd doing the same thing, I immediately forgot I was actually filming the scene. I'm just looking at them going, whoa, there they are, there they are. It was very exciting and a real honor, yeah.
Did you, being a fan of it and having that incredible moment, did you take anything home from the set? Were you allowed to keep your suit, a proton blaster, the car?
I kept my suit, yeah, which was pretty great.
Yeah.
And I took a couple of things, I just took them. I didn't tell anyone. I don't think I was supposed to.
I take things from
You
set
do?
as well.
It's the best. Why work on anything if you can't steal from a set? You know?
What have you lifted from set?
Oh, God, loads of things. Rings, like play rings, costume jewellery. I took a whip from Secret Diary.
Wow, OK.
Underwear from Secret Diary, because I'm never going to buy
Goes
that.
with the whip.
It makes sense. Loads of stuff from the TARDIS, like the console, the main central console.
The main console?
Yeah.
How did you smuggle that out?
Well, no, I didn't take the main console. I just took stuff like, you know, scraping it in, because it's just like bric-a-brac.
Yeah,
so...
but he's going to get lost in space and time now.
Not my concern.
Let's have a look at a clip. This is the amazing new Ghostbusters film starring Paul Rudd, as well as a cast of other brilliant stars. Frozen Empire, it's out now. Look at it. Come on, Frozen Empire, out now. A great family film. You've got some children, but you've got 3 kids, is that right, Billy?
I do, yeah.
And what do they think of you? Because I was thinking that because it's like a family film. What do they think of you as mum? What do they think of your work and your career? Do they tell you what they think? Do you ask them?
I would say my older ones couldn't give a shit. Which I actually like. I think that's a healthier response. I think I've got a fan in my youngest child. She seems to be... well, she'll watch, like, my music videos and things like that and ask to put the songs on in the car, and I'll oblige.
And, Paul, you've got an 18-year-old and a 14-year-old, I think. Are they fans of your work? Do kids like seeing their dad?
No, they could care less.
Yeah, that's great.
It's great. But at the end of the day, they're just, I'm their dad, I'm not cool. And if they ever think that I'm getting too big for my britches, they'll just say, hey, you know, you're not Black Panther. Which is actually something my son did say to me. He actually did say it. So.
Paul, I hope you don't mind asking. I want to ask you about one of my favourite scenes in recent comedy cinema history, which you were there for the filming of, you're on screen in it, the scene in 40-Year-Old Virgin, where they wax Steve Carell's chest.
Right, yeah.
That must have been quite a day at the office.
Yeah, that was they had about 5 cameras set up because once he got waxed, you couldn't do it again. Because he really got waxed.
You can't unwax him,
You can't go back.
Waxed.
Once you're waxed.
Despite what the Karate Kid told us.
No, it's wax on, wax off, stays off.
Yeah.
And that girl, the woman who was the waxer.
The waxer.
The waxer. I remember when she came in and was talking about it, she said her family owned a salon, this is what she did. But I think it's like, sometimes, you know, when you're looking for a job and, can you ride a motorcycle? Sure. Yeah. Or I could, She went to do it, she put glue on it. Actually, one of the crew guys said, no. You have to put oil or something on his nipple. Otherwise, you're gonna rip the whole thing off.
Yeah, it did bleed, I think.
He really did bleed.
It did bleed.
Oh, yeah, he bled.
I mean,
but it was something else. It was really to be in the room.
Previously, I thought he was a great actor. Now I'm thinking he just had to suffer.
Very little acting required from Steve in that scene. Yeah.
Have you ever been waxed?
I've never been waxed.
Well, this evening, we've decided, ladies and gentlemen... I get the feeling you're in relatively good shape, Paul. I mean, you don't strike me as being super fit, but you're not out of shape.
You look like
you look like you look after yourself enough to still...
Beautiful man,
I'm just
there
saying, I know, but you're,
No, but you're right. I
You know
mean,
what I'm
like,
saying?
you know,
you're like just in good enough shape to get back in the Ant-Man uniform, but not on a beach, nothing special. Am I right?
I think that's a pretty fair assessment.
Oh, stop.
I don't know about getting back in the suit, but yeah.
So my question is,
Okay.
have you ever injured yourself in any routine?
Have I ever injured myself?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
But can you be told in a
When you said
light-hearted way?
slip disc, I thought you said something else. I said that. That's what happened to me in the play. I just oh, disc. I injure myself on most things I've worked on, honestly. In Ant-Man, I once had to get in the suit, and there was some kind of spider or something that bit me, and my whole arm blew up, and I had to go to the hospital and get. And I'm like, that's another Marvel movie, isn't it? But it was really painful.
So hold it. So a spider had got into the ant suit.
I assume it was a spider. It was something. Maybe it was a really pissed off ant that felt we weren't representing him properly. I don't know what it was. But it was something.
Justice for the ants.